Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Gray Area here on the Black Man Unfiltered Network, simulcasting on the Sparta HQ Network. I'm Mr. Bennett, joined by my partner, as always,
This is Sparta!
the Ghost of Sparta, aka Peter, aka Panayotis. Yasu, my brother, how is it going?
What's going on, man? How are you tonight?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. See, for the occasion, I'm sporting my this is my Valentine killer shirt. So I'm rocking the red colors tonight. So just still in the festivity of the holiday and everything like that. Hopefully, folks out there, if you celebrate Valentine's Day or if you go by the banner of our show, is it about romance or is it about the big ripoff? We're going to talk about that tonight as we get into this. But make sure you hit the like button certainly as you come in. Consider subscribing to the Sparta HQ Network as well as the Black Man Unfiltered Network. Go jump over to the Sparta HQ platform. Showed some love over there and whatnot. Lots of content over there as well. But we appreciate you guys being with us tonight. And certainly, if you want to drop a Cash App or a Super Chat to the Black Men Unfiltered Network, you see his Cash App scrolling at the bottom of the screen. And anything that you want to give to us personally, certainly we have our own Super Chat. So, again, we appreciate any love that you want to give to us as well. So, again, good to have you guys tonight. Shout out to our chat tonight. So, wherever you got our guy Anton's Jersey stand-up in the building tonight. Good to have you here certainly tonight. And, certainly looking forward to folks as they come in. But, again, just make sure you hit the like button as you come in and be just all we ask for is just be respectful in the comments. That's all we want. And but with that, man, but let's get it. So let me just ask you just off the chat. Okay, all right, so cool. All right, so I'll be mindful of that. But just kind of going back. So I don't know what your general feelings are regarding Valentine's Day, or do you remember maybe a positive note? What's the best Valentine's Day you ever had? If you have a fond memory from Valentine's Day that you can keep PG, let us know. But any
Staying home and doing nothing. Because I think Valentine's is a scam. I'll be straight up. I think it's a scam. I think it's a business thing to make us men spend more money than everything. And if it's worse, the worst part is if it's Valentine's or birthday or some kind of holiday around that corner, your pockets are completely empty. You hear that sound? That's my pockets means they're empty. And so if you get a double whammy, you're screwed.
Yeah, I mean, I guess certainly a lot of people. Sometimes they take that approach, certainly to it. But again, it's just like anything else. Anything can be taken to extremes. Anything can certainly be dangerous at the or not wise at the end of the day. Everybody needs, certainly, especially in these days, needs to be mindful of their spending. But let's get into this a little bit, and maybe as always know, I like to share a little history on things. So let's just get into some background on Valentine's Day, a little insight that hopefully will help to broaden the conversation tonight. So let's get into this a little bit and see just some historic background on it. So again, Valentine's Day, as it's currently known, it kind of goes back a while. So again, Valentine's Day evolved from a somber religious commemoration of ancient fertility. So I think it really started in Rome. So this was if you're a Christian, this kind of has some pagan kind of origins to it. But again, it's evolved over time. So again, you already had the ancient Roman practice of, I'm going to butcher the name here, but I think it's called Lupercalia. Romans celebrate Lupercalia, a festival where priests sacrifice animals and slap women with hides to encourage fertility. It was a crazy practice back then. But that was an ancient practice in Rome around that time. But around 270 AD, there was the Saint Valentine. There was an actual Saint Valentine, and apparently Claudius II executed a priest named Valentine on February 14th for secretly performing marriages for soldiers. So again, I guess the emperor at the time, he didn't want his soldiers marrying, and but Valentine was, I guess, doing these marriages under the table, and so when he found out about it, he had him executed. And then in 496 A.D., it was officially established in memory of Saint Valentine. So Pope Gelasius replaced the Lammacalia with the feast of Saint Valentine, on February 14th, in honor of the martyr. And then you had several hundred years that took place that happened later. So again, it was actually on the church calendar. Now the 496 is relevant because you had kind of one Catholic church at that point. Now in the middle there, you had the Great Schism of 1054, where the Orthodox Church split off from the Roman Catholics, or the Catholics split from the Orthodox Church. I don't know what comes first, but you had the split between them. But up to that point, it was considered one unified church. So then again, 1382, that's when you started to get the romantic links to Valentine's Day. So again, Geoffrey Chaucer, he was the first to link the date of romance in his poem Parliament of Fowls, noting as the time of the year where the birds choose their mates. 1415, the first Valentine's letter. The Duke of New Orleans wrote to his oldest surviving Valentine a poem to his wife while in prison in the Tower of London. Then get more into some of the more modern the more modern associations with Valentine's Day. 1700s, handmade exchanges begin in Great Britain and in the American colonies. Friends and lovers of all social classes began exchanging small handmade tokens and handwritten notes. The mass production started in the 1840s when you started to see. So again, Esther A. Howard is the mother of the American Valentine. Began selling Valentine cards. That became a thing. 1868 Cadbury. So if you ever had Cadbury chocolates, the guy Richard Cadbury, he started selling chocolates in these heart-shaped boxes. 1913 Hallmark, that again everybody knows, and probably the biggest irony of all. So again, you had one of the popes back in 496 in honor of Saint Valentine, declared a day on the church calendar for it. But in 1969, the Roman Catholic Church removed it from the calendar. They still honor it, but they just don't put it on their calendar anymore because, again, the history that was behind the creation of the event, the history for Saint Valentine got a little muddy. And so they decided to pull it back and prioritize other things on their church calendar. So we don't even know, really, no one truly knows really what the real story is. It could have been just a mythology that was made of the Saint Valentine. We don't know for sure. I don't know if we have historical records. But again, the holiday just began to kind of grow and just change and morph over the years into the beast that it is today. But any thoughts on this, Pete? Before I go into some stats and some other things,
a little bit.
Sure.
When the church split up, they were known as Catholic at the time, or Orthodox. They were known as Christians only. Mm-hmm. So when the split happened, that's when the name Orthodox and Catholic became a thing because of the split. Before the split, it wasn't. Oh, we're Catholic, Christian, Catholic, or Christian Orthodox.
Well, Catholic was actually used different. Catholic was meant to be like the whole church. It wasn't so much a denomination, but the way they used Catholic back then, it meant the one church. So,
I'm saying being Catholic,
right in terms of what we know the Catholic Church today, yeah. But I'm saying, but the word itself, Catholic, had a lot broader application back then before it became known as the Roman Catholic, it was today. Catholic was just a generic term for the church back then.
Correct. So the second thing with this is one of the issues I have with this fake holiday. We have no real sources. Christmas, we do. We have Easter, we do. Let's say Mother's Day, we do. Father's Day, we do. 4th of July is an American holiday, obviously, and so on. The other holidays. So this holiday to me is a cash grabber.
Sure.
That's all how I look at it. Because the corporations pretty much figured out a way over the years, not together separately, like you see with the chocolate, figure how to make money. Same thing with Christmas. Christmas was a Christian holiday at first. Now it's more a holiday to how much money you can spend during the Christmas time. Is another reason to spend money. Simple.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I mean, it like I said, it certainly has grown and changed. But like I said, but every kind of holiday tradition, if there's a way to kind of monetize it, I mean, we got President's Day tomorrow, and so you're gonna have all these President's Day sales. Especially a lot of furniture stores. They like to use that as a time to
Car
certainly
dealers
market
too.
themselves. And yeah, so yeah. So I mean, that's always a big.
So, so I'll put it this way: this is how I always took this holiday. All right,
Mhm,
Eh, I don't need a holiday to buy flowers for my wife,
mhm,
girlfriend, fiance, whatever I have.
mhm,
I don't. Excuse me. I don't need a holiday me to tell her, "Hey, babe, I love you." I don't need a holiday to surprise her at dinner. I don't need a holiday to take her out to a nice meal,
mhm,
to a movie, to a comedy show, to a concert. I don't need a holiday to tell me that. I do it because I goddamn want to do it.
mhm.
Very
Yeah,
simple.
no doubt.
Now with this holiday, you feel like you have to. And I tell every girl I've been with, don't expect anything from excuse me, Valentine's from me. They look at me and I break it down like that. I just did. I don't need a reason to do it. I'll do it because I want to. The surprise factor is more important to me at the moment than me doing it on this holiday.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. But I think with any um, practice or holiday period, you do have people who have that attitude that basically any day can be whatever I want it. Like you have people who don't celebrate birthdays because the idea is that you can celebrate them any time of the year or have or to honor them. Like I don't need to wait for your birthday. If you're a kid, I don't have to wait for your birthday to buy toys. Like I know there's certain religions that don't celebrate birthdays, but it doesn't mean that their kids are in lack because whatever the need is. If you think the kid needs a toy or something, if they want something, you get it for them.
Mhm.
So again, holidays have always had that kind of nature to them where like I mean Christmas, for example. I know people who don't celebrate Christmas because of either the commercialization, but it's like, look, you think about Jesus all the time, or Easter for that matter. That you think about the death or the resurrection of Christ all the time. So what do I need a specific day for? But at the same time, again, some people feel more motivated, or at least it gives them the marker to remember. Sometimes it's like having a note. Sometimes you're not going to remember everything. So sometimes having a note in your phone, putting something to kind of remind you or something to build towards. Some people like having those because it helps to kind of structure how they go about doing things. If you have a certain day coming up, February 14th, for example, and let's say if you do want to do something nice, you start budgeting a little bit more because again, you have a calendar and have a time frame from which to do that. Or any other holiday, an anniversary or a birthday, you have it certainly gives you some markers from
Mhm.
which you can go and do those things. So personally, I don't. I'm kind of agnostic towards it to an extent. I mean, if people want to kind of go all out on Valentine's and make a big day out of it, you can do that. Just don't take it to an extreme. But that could be for any holiday. I mean, we talk about. No, we, shout out to Lost in Translation. It's too close to Christmas and New Year's. We need a break. Yeah, you spent your load on no Diddy.
I
You
just
spent
say,
you spent your you spent
I
your
just say,
load on Christmas, and you're still kind of recovering from that, trying to build up the bank account from the Christmas holiday. but so that's you blame you for that, BMU, because you're always doing that. So you got me doing it now. See, that's your fault that I did that. But but in any event, but in any event,
goes back to what I was saying. It's
yeah.
a money grabber again.
Oh, no question. But again, but they all are. So again, I'm not going to necessarily with Valentine's Day make it any more of a money grab than any of these other holidays. But again, there's numbers that obviously back up certainly the stats and statistics of it. So I can I can share some of that. And again, we can kind of go through this and kind of get a little bit more
Personally,
perspective.
I will say
Yeah.
one thing before you go. That I know you mentioned like the rise of Christ and his crucifix, and we as Orthodox we always remember that no matter what.
Right.
Now during the Holy Week, it's we're going through the motions again. You know what I'm saying? So it's a little, we look at it a little different than most people.
Mhm.
So Father Cousin always reminds us in almost every service, he sacrificed himself for us.
Right.
So I keep that in mind all the time when I go to church.
Sure.
So, and also Easter is not a money grabber for us. It's more a feast day.
Sure,
So the most you spend is a candle for the holy light, and that's it, like $20.
sure.
So I know some people go crazy with candy for the kids, Easter hunting. We don't do none of that stuff.
Hmm. Yeah, I got you. Shout out to Anton. He said he was never a fan of Valentine's Day when I was younger. I was the nerd that never got the girl. Continue to feel that way when I got older. My attitude has changed eventually. So yeah, so sometimes it's some of the angst for some people, if you're honest with yourselves, is the fact that maybe on Valentine's Day, maybe you don't have anybody at that particular time, or maybe you broke up with somebody, or it's just a sore point, or you go back to a time where you remember when you broke up with somebody or whatever. Can that also be some of the angst that people feel around the holiday? Because again, you might have broke up your last long-term relationship, might have broke up around that time also. So again, if people will be honest about, what is the thing. Some people say it's the spending. Some people say, oh, it's overinflated, or I can take my girl out anytime or whatever. A lot of people may throw that around, but is the reason a bit more personal than that? That if you did have somebody in your life or whatever, are you going to say, okay, we're just going to stay home and not do anything on Valentine, even though you're going out all these other times? What's the difference then if you decide to go out on Valentine's Day too? Like I date my wife all the time. We got, we're always going out. We're going out at the end of the month. That's just normally what we do. So the fact that we go out on Valentine's Day, it's another date, but I don't mind the fact that it is a Valentine's Day, and we don't typically overdo it. In terms of the spending, I keep a tight budget. I'm not getting hundreds of dollars worth of floral arrangements or anything like that. And for us, all I need on Valentine's Day, I need a good steak, and the way to my wife's heart is a rack of baby back ribs. You give her that on Valentine's Day, and she is happy. You can keep everything else, keep the Valentine's Day cards. You can keep all that kind of stuff. Again, a good steak and some ribs, and we are good to go. And so, we don't.
You guys have been married for multiple years now, so it's
right. But I'm saying, but we still have this. It's kind of a pattern that we still have. Even when our kids were young, we still made time for ourselves. And again, Valentine's Day was a bit of a marker, just like our anniversary. It was also a marker. Where if I know that there's something special I want to do around that time, or if I need to start putting some money away for something, I can start budgeting for this at this particular time. So if it's the summer, or if it's starting in the fall, and I know something's coming up, it may be a trip somewhere. So again, depending on what it is, again, like I said, I'm not opposed to having certain times of the year where people want to use that as a marker or an indicator to help them to plan certain things. But certainly to losses, certainly to lost point. Yeah, Valentine's Day every day, just like Christmas should be every day, or Easter is certainly is certainly every day. So I totally certainly get the sentiment, and you should have that. So it should be a natural thing. But if you were going to only think about doing something nice for your spouse around that time, then yeah, that could be a problem. It's just like that would be like the Christian who only comes to church on Christmas Day and Easter, and you do have a lot of those people like that as well. Easter Christians and Christmas Christians, you have that, the same way. So again, but I think that there is a balance. So there is a way to do it, but no doubt about it, it is a big enterprise. And it's certainly the biggest enterprise in America. So, you can certainly look at here, Valentine's, certainly it started in Europe, certainly as the stats have shown, and the fact that it came out of the Catholic Church, and obviously Catholic Church is a global religion. So naturally, a lot of those holidays and celebrations are certainly going to go into other parts of the world, but it's celebrated in Asia. It's celebrated in Australia. So a lot of countries that celebrate the holiday in one form or another. It's even celebrated in Greece. They just do a little bit different there. Again, if you look at just the countries around the world where it has the greatest recognition, again, there's a few countries. A lot of those countries are in the Arab world, where they don't participate in a lot of the European holidays. You can certainly see a reason for that. But at the same time, it's practiced in Saudi Arabia. But Saudi Arabia is almost like becoming almost like a metropolitan type of environment. Like they're drawing people from all over the world. So again, they may not be as strict with it, but it's even practiced in China, as a holiday. But again, it may not be because for the love of it, but I think a lot of people see the dollar signs behind it and say, hey, we can make money certainly from the from this event. So but it has global popularity. Again, the people. This was a poll taken from UK back in 2015. So again, why people do it? Again, different reasons. Some people do it, show how much you care. Some people do it. Yeah, somebody made a comment. I won't repeat the comment, but sex is a motivator. Or if it's not the sex, maybe a different type of sex. All right. Maybe she does something special, or you do something special on that day, or you wear something special that day. I don't know. But again, for some people, it is a motivator to do that. So again, go out to dinner, to impress someone, receiving gifts, to treat yourself, or to buy gifts, certainly for other people. And no question, it is a commercialization. Shout out to, again, in Lizardi. Yes, it's commercialized, a nice home cooked meal. Working on it together is more intimate than waiting to be seated in a restaurant and dealing with enormous crowds. Absolutely. And so again, people choose to celebrate in different different kind of ways. If I go to just some countries that celebrate, and again, some that don't. Again, a lot of these countries are Islamic countries where it's not really, at least it doesn't have national recognition. That doesn't mean that people in the country may not celebrate it, because again, if you see globally, just like, a lot of these countries may have access to social media just like any other country does. So, individuals may practice it, but again, is it a recognized holiday within the country? Not in all countries. And again, a lot of these countries tend to be Islamic in nature. Just in terms of where the money goes. Okay, so again, popular gifts, candy, which I've never been a huge candy fan. So again, I've never been attracted to that. Really not attracted to cards anymore. Flowers, yeah, I'll still get my wife some flowers. I got a nice lady down the street for me. She sells them reasonably priced or whatever. I don't believe in spending $200 for a floral arrangement from the mainstays or whatever. I go down, I support local business. So, she hooks me up every year. Going out to dinner, again, that's something we just love to do, period. Anytime we get a chance to go out and have a nice meal, to do that. In jewelry, not the biggest jewelry fan, or at least I don't, especially with my wife, she's very particular about this. I don't buy her jewelry now. My thing is, if she sees something that she likes, it's like, you want that, babe? Okay, go ahead and get it. But I don't buy jewelry for her because, again, her taste, like, I never, even after all these years being together, I still don't know what turns her on. You know what I mean? Some things I could think, oh, this would be perfect for you. And she'd be like, meh. And then some things I would think you would never wear. She's like, oh, that's cute. So again, I leave that alone in terms of shopping for her. I was like, whatever you want, if it's in the budget or whatever, yeah, go get that. And I just leave it alone. So I'm there with the card. But I'm not certainly getting it. I'm certainly not getting it there. Anton had St. Valentine's Day is also remembered as the 1929 hit. I remember. Well, dag, you take it to the mob with Al Capone. Yes, the St. Valentine's Day massacre. Yes, that was certainly an infamous day, certainly in U.S. history. But let's get to the real as far as this is a moneymaker. Just look at the statistics. Projected as from 2025. In fact, I just saw a stat just before the show. We see since 2014, the amount spent on Valentine's Day has increased steadily over the years. In fact, the 2026 numbers just came out. They just passed $29 billion in sales, in revenues from Valentine's Day. So yes, it's a very profitable holiday in the United States.
Time out. I see these numbers going up, and the only thing I'm hearing people complain about, I don't have money. 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 And, oh yeah, did I forget? I don't have money. Did I mention, right? They always complain that they don't have money, but when you're spending, all this money on overpriced Valentine's meal, because I'll be honest with you, known in the restaurant business, I'll tell you guys a little secret. All right, you guys don't know this, right? We check out the prices on Valentine's Day on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So a steak that is normal, let's say $15, right? You're paying $25 to $30 that night on purpose.
Yeah.
It's jacked up on purpose. We have a regular menu, Valentine's menu, a holiday menu. It's all special menus. So we swipe out the menus, and guess what? We're making more money like that.
Right.
So people complain they don't have money because they want to get the PP wet mostly.
Well, look, as far as people spending, people are going to spend on what they want.
Of course, I'm not
I
gonna tell
mean,
you how to spend money.
people have money. They're spending $500 for an Xbox, or they're spending $200 for a pair of Jordans or Nikes or what have you, and doesn't look like they have a lot of money. So again, people will make room for what they desire. So on that day, yeah, it could be the sex. Sex is a very powerful motivator, and is spending a few more dollars is going to again at least make the night more interesting. Then yeah, a lot of people would certainly think it's worth the extra money. Shout out to actual King Smith. Shouts certainly to you. Follow King and Michelle, the King and Me show on the on their network. Look up the King and Me, and certain Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is typically when their show is on. But again, great content. In fact, I'd like to know from you guys, how did you guys spend? If you guys celebrate on Valentine's Day or do something special on Valentine's Day, maybe that could be a topic that you can talk about in your upcoming show or whatever. But I'd like to know from you guys, if you guys patronize the holiday or you just do something else with that. But certainly they got a good show, good dynamic. Make sure you follow those guys on the YouTube.
And King, let me hear. Drop the link of your show, of your channel, please, too, so that people can follow you.
Absolutely, absolutely. But again, some more dollars just in terms of on average what people spend. It says here again, the average American spends again $196.73 on Valentine's Day in 2025. You see on the right where the breakdown occurs. So again, gifts, again going out, flowers, candy, chocolates, greeting cards, accessories, experiences, like I said, trips and shows. So again, a lot of people will budget for, and a lot of times that they spend on these occasions, and that was 2025, and from what the numbers that just came out, people are going to spend more on that as well. Now, King says, I am not a Valentine celebrator, and I've been under the weather. Sorry to hear that. Hopefully you're feeling better soon. Michelle came over and cooked, and we watched TV shows. Hey, shout out to you guys for that. And again, he dropped the link to his channel in the chat. So again, make sure you guys go over there, show those guys some love. Good people, and have a good dynamic over there. So shout out to him being here. So again, a decent amount of money that people are spending. But when you think about it over the course of a year, if that's the average, right now, I know some people go all out and they go, spend hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. But, certainly, again, $200 on a night out. I mean, I'm about to spend $200 at the end of the month. We're going to see George Lopez in concert at the Prudential Center. So, that night's going to run me over $200. So again, what is the so again, if you're going to spend money on other things, but the fact that I decided to spend that money on Valentine's Day, I don't see it I'm not any more worse off. Now, again, I would ask you this, since you brought it up, how do you feel about the fact that in a restaurant that they will jack up the prices so dramatically on Valentine's Day, same item that you would get on the day before, the day after, and yet they bump up the price 30-40%. I mean, you're in the kitchen. How are you feeling about that? You're kind of participating in the robbery, so to speak.
Don't you get it twisted, my boy.
So I'm just saying you're part of.
No, those are fighting words. I would jump through this camera and whip you.
I'm just saying you're the cook. You're the chef. You're preparing. I'm not saying you're preparing the food any differently. I'm just saying, you're part of the enterprise. I mean, not directly, but you're part of the if that's what they're doing, they're intentionally going to have a dramatic markup in the price of an item that would sell for half the cost or 40% less on any other day. How do you feel about that when you're in, preparing that, and how does that make you feel as you're doing that?
It's another day in the office, to be honest with you. Because it could be a catering event I'm doing, and that's jack up the price too. Because something is a normal menu, just in a catering event or a special a party, they're gonna jack up the price because you reserved it, or is whatever you want to like you reserved the room or whatever. Now they're checking out the prices even more. So it's a normal day. I don't really look at it like that, because even as you're blaming me for the price jack,
I didn't blame you. I just said you're an unindicted co-conspirator. I'm just,
You've reached your limit on talking. Shut the fuck up.
I'm just saying.
You deserve that one.
You're part of the machine. You're part of the machine.
No, I'm not. I'm a worker. I'm in there for a paycheck. I don't care what anything else that happens. Same as you.
Just like the soldier. I'm just taking orders, right?
Exactly. I have nothing to do with it. The only time, once in a while, there might, a couple of restaurants I work at, can you make a special menu? And I'll make a special menu. I have no problem. That's very easy to do.
Mm.
Now, I give him what is our price coming in. He's going to price it at whatever he wants after that. I actually have absolutely nothing to do with that. Completely out of my hands. I don't do money. I don't do budgeting. I don't do none of that stuff. The only thing I worry about is what comes in my kitchen, and the food goes up perfectly fine. And that's all I care about at the end of the day.
I got you.
Really, it doesn't faze me, Paul. It really doesn't. Because, like I said, it's another day in the office.
Right.
Like, I worked in restaurants that, oh, man, I think I don't do this anymore. I worked in restaurants that we gave out free meals on Mother's Day to mothers. Do you know how bad that can be?
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly not a. Now it's interesting because, again, Mother's Day, a lot of these restaurants, they do the same thing. They don't maybe did what you did, but they'll do the same thing. They'll jack up the price on Mother's Day because, again, on Mother's Day, everybody wants to take their moms out, especially after church or whatever. Restaurants are packed, and they're doing the exact same thing. So again, if most people, your restaurant in that case, that's the first time I'm hearing something like that. But Mother's Day is a huge, especially that Sunday, is a huge revenue generator for restaurants. Father's Day, not as much, because unfortunately, fathers don't get taken out as much as moms on Father's Day as moms are on Mother's Day. So that's just that's just the reality of it. But yeah, I mean, that's the first time I'm hearing that. But yeah, I would think that you're definitely taking a hit in the pocket at the end of the night. I mean, free meals on Mother's Day. Yeah, I mean, I think that place is going to be packed, right?
A packed is the understatement. The line's at the door. Places that don't have a line at the door. Like, first, that one place I worked at, Poke and Brun Company, we're doing free meals at the time. Different owners now. But when we were pushing that out, we were running out of food. I ended up telling the owner, you better get your ass down here with your truck. I need you to go to BJ's because that's the only closest place we had at the time, and get me everything I need. And we were still running out. End of the night, we had an empty kitchen. And I was glad next day is delivery day because I will be eating up a shit storm with no food in the kitchen. Because I was not going to open that kitchen the next day because I had nothing. Literally, I mean nothing. The only thing I had was 2 cases of fries left. That's it. And maybe a half a case of burgers. A lot of money we're talking about.
Yeah,
we're talking about
sure.
closing into the millions we're talking about at this point now. But again, you're giving free meals. How much money I never understood that personally. I think you lose more money. I didn't understand discount to their mothers, but they're still a customer. They still get paid. You still have to pay no matter what. I will never give a free meal out if I own my own restaurant.
Yeah.
That's my personal opinion.
Gotcha. All right. So just moving on. Again, we've changed angle a little bit. Hopefully you guys can still see that. Again, as far as spending between men and women, because I know a lot of guys complain about the spending. And yes, certainly men do spend more on Valentine's Day than women. I mean, it kind of goes. I mean, it's really marketed. It is a woman's holiday, just like Mother's Day is to a large extent. But again, the variance isn't as big as I thought it was. It's a 40% variance. So the average man spends $150 on Valentine's Day versus a woman spending $105. Now, again, what that breakdown is, I'm not sure. If it's that 105, she's spending it. Is she spending that directly on him? And again, I would like to know if there's any ladies out there. I would like to know if you do buy something for your guy at Valentine's Day, what's a gift? Because again, quite frankly, a lot of guys, again, I don't need a box of chocolates. I don't need a Valentine's Day card. Obviously, I'm not getting flowers. I'm not getting this. So what are you spending on? Now, if you're spending on lingerie, Now, if you want to say, "Oh, well, it's for him," but again, but you're buying it, so is that what I would like to see a breakdown of that if somebody can specify. But the ladies, if there are ladies out there, if you spend for your man on Valentine's Day, what are the things that you're getting? Are you getting a cologne, a fragrance of some kind, some clothing, or maybe just some electronics, jewelry? What are you getting for your man? Because again, 105 versus 150, it's, while still dramatic, it's not as bad as I thought it was. I thought it was like, well, men spend $500 on their women for Valentine's Day, and women only spend 25. I thought it was that kind of disparity, but that's not a huge. Certainly numeric wise, it's huge, but that's still a significant amount. But I'd still like to know what that $105 that the ladies are talking about. What is that comprised of? In terms of that. And just speaking at the restaurants, here you got, again, obviously there's a huge increase, a bump in revenue at restaurants, 34% increase in revenues at the, at the restaurants. So you see here the steak, steak basically doubles on Valentine's Day versus other times of the year. Wine sales up almost 40% all Valentine's Day. So again, it is a profit generator, and people do, are willing to spend that kind of money. But again, my thing is this: I don't necessarily like to pocket watch other people, because the idea here is that, again, people are going to spend at any time of the year. You could spend that kind of money either going to a fancier restaurant or going to a show or going on a trip or whatever that is. If it's within your budget to do so, then I don't have a problem with people if they want to spend on Valentine's Day or Mother's Day or any other holiday or any other time. But certainly there is, from a business point of view, there is a substantial uptake in sales. Certainly at restaurants when that takes place. And this last slide I'll show here, and I'm sure this is something you'd be interested in, Pete. Again, in terms of lingerie sales, all right, 40 to 60% increase in lingerie sales leading up to that. Now, what I found interesting, age groups from France. Shout out to the French women. Age group 45 to 54 are the highest intent to purchase lingerie for that specific holiday. So I don't know what's going on with those older French women, but they're into the lingerie certainly at that time. And then again, the brands that really, they have the biggest increases. Again, you got Fredericks of Hollywood. You got, certainly a lot of these
Victoria's Secret and so on.
Yeah, they all brought about 43% on average in 2025. So yeah, but then afterwards, again, they got the after Valentine's sale, 50-70% decrease in sales. So again, if I'm a smart shopper, I'm going after Valentine's Day, and I'm gonna clean up, and I'll just keep that in my closet until next Valentine's Day. I love clearance on anything. If I can buy a coat, if I can buy summer stuff off season. That's what I do. I don't try to buy things in peak time when they're going to be the most expensive. I'm a Marshall shopper, so I'm always trying to buy stuff off the rack, off season, just to save money. I'm just not about that life, about spending premium dollars for things. But that's basically what I wanted to share as far as the just the stats and on it and whatnot. So yeah, so it's a big time. So it's a big time revenue generator, certainly for business. And certainly they have a lot of incentive to do that, and people tend to enjoy it. But I certainly appreciate the exit, if you will. So here you got in Lizardi. I guess he's talking about what's been, again, a jersey, a video game, and a gift card. Yeah, that's a nice. That's a nice gift. BMU, he's not buying the numbers about the spending. He thinks, hey, I'm thinking like you. I'm thinking the guy may, when all said and done, $300-400 for a guy, and she might spend, I don't know, maybe $25 on him, something like that. But shout out to R. Payne. I spent $22 on the lovely wife, and she loved it. Shout out to R. Payne in the building, our senior OG. And one thing I'd say for sure, he loves his wife, and so
Oh,
if
I
he can
see.
get
I
away
see
for
companies doing
$22 and she's
well,
happy, hey, he got a good one.
bro. I gotta give him credit. Like I see as a chef, I see a couple of this stuff he pops out his meals, and I gotta
Yeah,
give him credit. He can put it out in the kitchen.
yeah, he loves to cook. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah,
But
it's different when you're cooking at home and when you're cooking professionally. Two different animals. I always tell people that. Just
mhm,
keep that in mind. But
I got you.
like you guys, you're saying, like again, they're jacking up all the prices.
Yeah,
Like, come on now. Like, if you're still thinking you're saving money, Valentine's special. No, 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 no.
mhm,
Like, you're spending money.
mhm,
Like, I don't need you to have a holiday to go buy lingerie for me.
mhm.
Just buy it. Just hell of it.
Right.
And
Well,
if you get,
I think,
I'll
and I
help you
think,
pick it
yeah,
out. I'll go with you. I'll go in Victoria's Secret. I'm
yeah,
not ashamed of going in there. And like, I'm one of
right,
those guys like, buy this, buy this, buy this, because I'm gonna rip it off. I'm gonna rip this off. I'm gonna rip this off.
right, right.
Simple.
Yeah, but like I said, I think that having a regular, like I said, I don't mind the holidays as markers or as planners, but I do think that certainly in your relationship, I think that should be a regular part of what you do. If you go out, again, it doesn't have to be overly expensive, or if you spend time together, whatever, whatever you guys do, it should just be a normal part of what you do. But you shouldn't necessarily have to get worked up, so to speak. Or I wanna please my man, so yeah, I'm gonna put on that sexy thing for him or whatever. Well, look, you got 364 days out of the year to do that also. Or are you one of those people that only will do that if you go on vacation? So I mean, the earlier point that was made is like, are men generally trying to basically buy sex, buy spending on Valentine's Day or the vacation or whatever? Is this becoming more of a quid pro quo, even for married people, where you spend money and then all of a sudden or you get something that you wouldn't get normally. Well, why aren't you getting it normally? I guess is the question. And that's for me, that's for the man or for the woman. So I'm more. I think we're more alike on this issue than not. In that, again, every day in your marriage or your relationship or what have you, everything, you shouldn't necessarily need a certain day to express your love and affection for your spouse. That should never be, okay, I'm going to wait until this time. Now, again, budgeting, I got no problem with budgeting. If it helps you to budget better and you have a target and saving goals and whatnot, I have no problem with that. But certainly a day to where you need that, well, then that, to me, that's a problem. Or, and I know couples where it's like they only put out 3 times a year: Valentine's Day, birthday, anniversary. So I mean, that's kind of, unfortunately, you do have some relationships that are like that, very transactional, or very much it's like, well, I guess it's because of the day, okay, I guess we got to do it. But that's still a very dysfunctional situation. If that's the only time you can be intimate, or that's the only time you can show some affection, is on those 3 essential days, that's a major that's a major disappointment. So my thing is, but go out. I would say this: go out on Valentine's Day because you want to go out on Valentine's Day. I got no issue with that. But yeah, for some people, it's all about the dollars at the end of the day, and that is unfortunate. Your thoughts?
I agree 100% because it's about the numbers. That's all they care about at the end of the day. And it translates.
I'm not even going to say the word, but it goes up 33% in the homes around Valentine's. Unfortunately, yeah. But I think that's where a lot of marriages are. It's quid pro quo. It's yeah. That's a sad commentary that people live, or certainly live in those types of relationships. Yeah, that's unfortunate. But I'm sorry, I cut you off, Pika.
Oh, no, you're good. You're good. It shouldn't be a transactional thing. It comes to intimacy. I'm like, okay, you buy me this car and I put out, or you take me out for dinner, I put out. or I will go to the movies or dinner or whatever the case is, and I'll put out. I don't agree with that. I disagree completely with that.
Mm-hmm.
Or I only put out 3 times a year on those specific dates. No, I disagree with that. You put out when time is right.
Mm-hmm.
Like you should be intimate a minimum 3 to 4 times a week with your wife on a low end.
Mm-hmm.
Our situations are different. Every marriage and every situation is different. Like I
Mm-hmm.
understand. Like if you have kids, you busy work. So I understand that. But if you're not intimate at all, it goes weeks and months.
Mm-hmm.
Problem.
Right. Right. You think 3 or 4 times a week? You think that's low side?
Yes.
Guys in the chat, I'm curious. I know BMU. Can you put a poll out? I know you told our polls earlier. I don't know if you want to put a poll on that one. 3 or 4 times a week. That's on the low end of the intimacy scale. I would think for a lot of guys, they'd be very happy if they can kind of get that on a regular basis. So I would think that's a little bit ambitious. I mean, if you honeymoon stage or whatever, yeah. But I mean, if you're a bit older, whatnot, that's an ambitious scale to go on. But what say you guys? Is 3 to 4 times a week? Is that low side for you guys? I'd be curious to know. Drop your thoughts on the in the chat. But according to the Spartan here, that means so, I mean, that is correct. But that's more than 3 or 4 times. So again, you're talking 5 times 5 days a week. On average, 4 to 5 times a week on average. And I would say this: the percentage of folks who are getting that kind of defined. I think King BMU defined it just now. Okay, he said 21 ejaculations a month to prevent prostate cancer. I've got that stat too. I got a video to the doctor. She was talking about that statistic. Can you get that in your marriage at any time? So yeah. Shout out to King. So that's what I'm saying. Keep it 100. 3 or 4 times a week is low. I'd be trained.
King, is that my fault? You can't keep up with with a Spartan.
You're talking to the Spartan.
That's all I gotta say. See this?
Right. But again, if you're I'm not even gonna go there with you. But
go there. I don't care.
I'm saying, but it's almost like you're kind of on the outside looking at. So again, even in your stablest, longest relationships, that was a minimum for you.
Yeah, like my last longest relationship with my ex. The whole story about that. Anybody does. I made it clear. We were together for 3.5 years. We lived together for about 2.5, 2.5, and the whole time we lived, it was like 5 to 6 times a week. It wasn't a night we didn't do it. I'll be honest with you.
Mm.
I don't know, at least one time a day. Sometimes it would be 2 or 3.
Wow. Yeah, I mean that's
my harassment works, bro. Like you guys make fun of this gut, but this gut works for a reason. And working out is always not the answer to harassment. There's other answers to it too.
It is a normative, healthy as a trainer. It is a normal activity. You can be adding years to your life when you do it on a regular basis. That is scientifically proven. So I get that. And shout out to King. See, King is giving you your flowers. More power. He's giving you your salute in terms of your virility and your ability to still and still. So that BME says, "Hey, I go round, so I'm getting 21, always ahead of schedule." Hey, shout out to you. Hey, still getting it in. Now again, he said he said ejaculations. That doesn't mean intercourse or coitus necessarily. So
you might need this more than I will.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So is that all? But again, we don't have to get. I don't want to get into TMI. I don't want to get anybody's business here. But from what I understand, however you can get that 21 by any means, whatever, then hey, certainly go for it. But for a guy, certainly in his 40s. And you're still getting in that kind of action. Hey, salute to you, man. If you're still putting in that kind of work, I'm not mad at that.
At my age too. I'm 40. So it usually slows down by now. And like I'm actually more energized than a bunny right now.
Yeah, yeah.
And like they
But again,
say,
but you're not currently in a relationship. So I mean, I'm just wondering if you were like in the regular, if you were in in the regular, that would that slow down for you? Because again, you've been doing it
no,
for a while, or it would just be such a normative thing that. But the fact that you're kind of on the outside looking in, like you're not necessarily doing on a regular. At least I don't think you are, but on a regular basis, is that's where you're getting amped up over.
every relationship I've ever been into, they always told me they couldn't keep up with my sex drive. Every single woman said that to me. They could not keep up with my sex drive because of how high it is.
Yeah.
Like it could
Now,
be just her walking out or with a pair of sweatpants on, like, bang,
yeah.
I'm ready to go.
See, look at the OG here, man. So you got to look at this wisdom here. See, again, 30s, yes. 40s 2 times a week. 50s on demand. 60s is muscle memory. So that's how, see, again, he breaks it down in such a fact. That's how it works for like normal people. So again, yeah. So for the 40
I'm
year
not normal,
old,
dude. You remember
for the
this?
40-year-old, you get in a couple times a week or whatever. That's low side. But you're still saying 40s and 3 and 4 times a week is still on the low side.
Actually,
Again,
they say from what I was told from multiple doctors I've seen over the years, if you're waking up with a single guy wake up with an erection every single day, that means you have a very healthy testosterone level.
Mm.
And I asked him what happened to you if I wake up like multiple times a day like that, like you have way too high. And every doctor who's seen my blood work says you have way too high for your age. I'm like,
yeah.
what can I do about it? Is the last thing I
Yeah,
can, like,
test certainly. Certainly that is a now BMU. Now I'm not gonna. I can't show that comment, sir. So I'm not gonna do it on the show. But he has ways around it. I'm not gonna show that last comment, but certainly I appreciate it.
now we know why the Titanic went down.
Said Titanic when Baby hit his first home run, so he has to break down. It's accurate for him. Oh man, but let's get.
We're
But
not
yeah.
PG anymore, I think.
Yeah, yeah, but I think that the idea of you're trying to use again these holidays rather than again an expression of what you already have to try to gin up something that may or may not last. Okay, let's say you go through all that, you set up the perfect Valentine's night. You come with the roses, you come with the car, or and you wash your car that day. You put a new Century in it, and it's nice and buffed up, and you show up and you go out and all that. And at the end of the night, something happens. One of you guys gets sick, right? Then like what happened? What happened to the night? So I think that again, if you want to try to use Valentine's Day as a way to kind of to start or to build something, I think you're going to be lacking. But again, you should be able to go into any holiday. It could be your anniversary. It could be the birthday. Again, are you on good terms throughout the course of the year? But Valentine's Day is not like, it's not the quick fix. That's almost like taking an ED pill for a night. But again, if you got other things that are contributing to the ED, you need to maybe take care of those. Check your T level. Is it low? Do you need to maybe get on a TRT replacement or something, or start exercising or something? But if you just kind of want to run to the pill, then again, is that going to necessarily be healthy for the long run? So again, I don't think that none of these holidays should be used to fix something. Like I said, going back to the whole church thing, again, Christmas or Easter should not be the time to fix your religion. Your religion should be with you every, 24/7, 365. You may take a moment and pause and do an additional veneration or recognition, but it should not be, oh, okay, I got to practice my Christianity now, so now I'm going to go to church on Christmas or Easter. It shouldn't be that either. Live out your faith. It should be a normal part of your life. Just like sex should be a normal part, especially if you're in a marital relationship, it should be a normative part of your life, unless there is a legitimate problem. If there's a physical problem or some real legit health blocker where you guys cannot do it because of injury or someone's paralyzed, whatever the issue is, and that's different. But generally, but again, this idea of, you're building up for this one night. Now, I'll be honest, there have been nights that we've gone out or whatever, I come back, the last thing I want to do is have sex when we got back. I want to go to sleep. If we get back 1, 2 in the morning, I'm like, nah, I'm in them days of my 20s and 30s is over. So I'm like, look,
even
let's go to sleep and maybe visit in the morning or something. But I'm not, I'm not trying to be this Energizer bunny, just be up all night.
Even with my crazy sex drive, like if we're out all night and everything, I'm tired. Yeah, I get it. I'm not. Listen, I'm human. I'm not super dick here. As much as I don't want to brag as much, but I get the whole thing. You can't keep a straight face so bad right now.
We got a new superhero, ladies and gentlemen. Marvel's going to be releasing first edition one of a new comic book series.
I think it's stupid for that one. It might be copyright already. Dark Comics coming after my ass right now.
I'm trying to picture the uniform. The guy's going to be standing in his cape.
Listen, you know what?
These images in my head.
You know what? Picture me in a Speedo, bro. Trust me, I'm not.
Oh man, you gotta warn me next time you come with those. Oh my gosh, I'm crying.
You're making me fucking laugh.
Okay. All right. So again, a new superhero just got launched tonight, guys.
Dude,
so look forward on your newsstands.
I might get sued from Dark Comics now.
Oh man,
from the Dark Edition.
Oh, I'm hurting right now. Oh gosh.
But anyway, listen. As much I want to take a lot of credit about my superpowers. I'm human too. I get it. If you're out all night, doing your thing, I know. I get that. If you're out having a good dinner or whatever, so you're not gonna. That's the last thing you want to do. Is call the power of the dicks coming out. I get it, but no. But
we're going into after hours here, but go ahead.
A normal night, yeah, you're right about that, Paul. And let's be realistic. Maybe one day she's too tired. That's why 3 or 4 times a week is more in the normal level, I think. So it depends on the schedule and all that stuff. Normal level. That's my opinion.
I hear you. Now, look, like I said, just note to the candidates. Obviously, Peter is in wife mode. He's looking for Mrs. Laritzis. So that's going to be part of the job description. Just put it out there. Just at least let people know that's what your expectation is, and come ready for that kind of activity, no doubt. But again, shout out to you. You still got that. That energy. But like I said, I think that I think there's what I do like, especially some of the suggestions tonight. So again, King talked about, again, Michelle came over because it was a feeling well cooked dinner. He had another commentator, someone in the chat talked about, again, staying home having a nice meal. I mean, that could be romantic too.
It can be
cooking together and preparing a meal together and just spending a quiet night at home. That's perfectly fine. It's still Valentine's Day. So, I mean, like I said, that's the thing, too. With any of these holidays, you can kind of acknowledge or participate or do something special for the holiday. But you don't have to go down the rabbit hole of saying, well, I got to spend all this money on this, and this. And you also got to know your partner also in terms of what they like. Because like I said, my wife, I don't eat a lot of sweets, period. Let alone candy. I'm more of a pastry guy than a candy guy. I don't need a box of chocolates. You give me a box of chocolates, it's going to last 5 years because I may have like one a month or something like that. That's just not a motivator for me.
No, I totally understand that. But again, you don't need to go out or even cook dinner. Somebody might just get delivery at home and watch a movie. Could be nice too.
Absolutely. Netflix and chill. I got no problem with that either. But again, but if you do want to make it a bit more special, you know, if you're going to fashion, I know you're not a big fan of the commercialization, but what if you were going to have a Valentine's Day for you? Like, what would be ideal? Could you fashion something that's not necessarily focused on money or expensive gifts or going out? What could a day like that look like for you?
So number one, I would never do it on Valentine's Day because I hate the lines. I'm not gonna be waiting for an
But
hour.
that's going out. I'm saying take the traditional Valentine's going out stuff, take it out of it. You're gonna create you and Mrs. Loritzis or your lady or whatever. You're gonna create your Valentine's. So it's got to be on. It's got to be on the 14th. It's got to be on that day.
Okay, you mean at home? That's a different story.
Whatever. I'm just saying. Take if you don't like the commercialization, and for those in the chat also, put together your perfect Valentine's Day. Forget all the commercials that comes with it. What's a good night or day for you in that regard?
I would probably say if I had to pick a meal, like, so she didn't know I was cooking. Let's say I'm cooking. She's gonna chill. I want to surprise her with a beautiful Valentine's meal. All right. I will start with a tomahawk, a nice, good tomahawk steak. Yes, they're expensive, but they're worth the money.
Big,
Tomahawk steak with sauteed mushrooms and onions, seasoning for 72 hours, not 24 hours, but 72 hours, so all the seasons can absorb. So I'm gonna cook it correctly. Obviously, it depends. I will try because there's one big steak. You have to find the right temperature for both of you guys. Let's say maybe she's a mid-well, I'm a medium. Maybe do it like in the middle somehow. And it is possible. Trust me, it is. Veggies, I'll probably do a nice asparagus, a garlic seasoned asparagus roasted or grilled. I won't bake it. That'll be the veggie. For a starch, I'll probably do a fresh made ravioli with a penne alla vodka sauce. My recipe, not the one anybody knows, is my little secret recipe. And dessert, I'll probably buy something from the store because I cannot bake. And keep a nice bottle of wine for her, and beer for me because I'm a beer drinker, and probably have a cigar after I'm done cooking. Simple as that.
Yeah.
You hungry?
Now, how much would that cost?
So
I know those tomahawk steaks. I mean, they're pretty expensive. So
they're
how
about
much you
$200 up a cut.
Right.
So the cuts are usually worth for two people. They're easy for two people. Sometimes three, depends on the cut, on the ounces. I don't want to give you a exact number on ounces because I don't know what I'm going to find. So let's say, for argument's sake, the steak, on the low end, I see them at about $150 to $200. So let's say 200 on a high end, right? The 6-pack for me isn't going to cost me $20. Nothing crazy. So we're into 220 so far. Her wine, it depends on the one she likes. If I want to go a little expensive, a good wine bottle, I'll bring too much, another 100, 150.
Now, what's the most you'll spend on a bottle of wine?
100, 150, 200 for a special occasion, obviously. I'm saying. So we're in it, what, about 20, about.
You're almost $400.
No.
No, 220. You said 220 for the steak.
I said $150.
$150, and then what was the other thing? I know you quoted 220, right?
Yeah, with the beer I'll get for myself, it'll be 220.
220, okay, yeah. And then the wine would be like another 100.
100. So it'll be about.
So it's three. So that's 320.
320.
Okay. So that's still that. Yeah, veggies. So let's just say round it up, and you say you got to go and buy the dessert because you don't bake.
Let's say for argument's sake, $500 for everything. If I want to get her flowers on top of that too, okay. I still think that'll be cheaper than going out and be a better meal because trust me, the quality of food sometimes is not up there with the price. You really think the restaurants are going to get the top line steaks? Even they say, "Oh, this is prime cut." No, it's not.
Yeah, they all come out and say, "Oh, the meat has been aged for a certain number of days and whatnot, and we get it from a butcher from this or that or whatever." So,
no, the most they can say is true if they're marinated for a couple of days. Some steaks like Well, your favorite cut.
I'm ribeye.
I thought you were oxtail fan.
Oh yeah. Well, you
Yeah,
said steak. I mean, I don't consider oxtail
yeah,
steak.
I know. That was my fault. Oxtail, you need to marinate that for a few days. If you do it the correct way, you don't
Hmm.
have to,
Hmm.
but technically, you should marinate for at least about 3 or 4 days.
Hmm.
Or in the juice, whatever marinade you use. I always recommend fresh herbs, but again, for 4 days, I recommend usually.
Hmm.
So stuff like that, yeah. But if you think you're getting a top of line steak, you're funny.
Hmm.
Let's say you go into a Texas Roadhouse, most popular steakhouse out there right now.
Hmm.
You think you're getting the best cut steaks? You're funny if you think that. You're
Hmm.
getting the most lowest quality possible. Like even high end restaurants, you think you're getting top line steaks? You're not. Top line steaks you're getting when you buy yourself.
Hmm.
A lot of these are scams, and they get away with it.
So you would go to like there's like a local butcher or something
Oh, local
or
butcher, yeah. I'll go to
yeah,
local butcher. Not a
right.
problem with that. Not a problem with that at all. And I'll make sure I go ahead of time, like a couple weeks ahead of time, and ask them, listen, I need a tomahawk because tomahawks are not easy to get. They're very hard to
Right.
get, actually.
Right.
And he tells me, okay, yeah, no problem. Give me, if I came with 2 weeks in advance, that's more enough time usually.
Hmm.
And that's perfectly fine. But again, I think that's going to be a better meal and more profitable for me personally. I think it'd be better spend my money like something that I know where my food's coming from. I know what's
Hmm.
in my food. I know what I'm making. I know she's going to enjoy it. Versus going to a restaurant, like, no, I would never. I personally would never do that. That's me again.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, shout out to Endless Artie. Yeah, female will accept that better than going out because you will be putting in all the effort that's more meaningful. Now, again, it depends on the woman, right? We all know, we've all seen the videos of the women, like, who won't go to Cheesecake Factory on the first date. Like, some of these women can be very materialistic in terms of what their expectations are. They want to be taken to Del Frisco's. They want to be taken to the expensive steakhouses and whatnot on date one. So again, so a lot of them are very materialistic. You seem like someone who's a bit more grounded, and certainly could appreciate someone who would put that kind of effort into doing something nice. A first date, or certainly in your dating, where again a home cooked meal, or going to the park, preparing a food basket and going to the park, or
Mhm.
going to the beach, or something to that something to that effect. Those are things that are. Certainly I think the right woman would appreciate. But I think there's some that are very materialistic, and they again, the expectation that, oh, we're going to go out and do this, and we're going to do this, and we're going to spend here, so I can get dressed up and I can do, these things. A lot of them are doing it for the gram. They're doing it for the Instagram because they want to be able to take their pictures. You always see the ones where they're holding their drink. They got the nice tequila, whatever, and they got their nails done, and so it looks cool because they're taking it on Instagram or something like that. Some people are very materialistic that way, but generally though, yeah, I think, in fact, to me, that's a great first date. To be honest with you, a picnic at the park, or again, a home cooked meal. Now, I mean an official date. I'm not throwing in like the coffee dates and to get to know you type of situations or whatnot, but where you feel comfortable inviting someone to your house,
Mhm.
or that the two of you, either someone's going to cook for you or the two of you are going to prepare a meal together. I think if a person can rock with that, I think that is someone you definitely need to invest your time with. The one who wants to go out all the time. Now, again, from Pete, what he just said, you're still going to spend money. Again, $500 at the restaurant versus $500 cooking it yourself. Now, again, he's saying that the quality, now I believe him, the quality would be better. But again, it's still about the money. So if we're going to complain about the expense of the event, you're still spending money. Again, that's why I'm not judging whether you want to go out, whether you want to do the home cook thing or the Netflix and chill thing and just order takeout, however you guys want to do it. But I think
The
certainly
other,
yeah.
the other biggest scam is when people get those gold leaf steaks. Oh man, I
Mm-hmm.
lose my shit when I hear that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And every party I ask, have their husband take them to a very nice high end area, gold leaf steak or gold leaf drink, whatever the case is. It's some gold leaf, right?
Mm-hmm.
ask him, was it worth the money? The answer is always, always, always no. I was going to spend the money.
Yeah.
And I go, did you spend the money? No. My ex-boyfriend did, or my ex-husband, or whatever the case was. It was for a show. It's what
Gotcha.
it's a show. Same thing when you get bottle service at a bar. You're spending a couple $100. They're coming out with sparklers. Woo! They're bringing up all this stuff. Like, it's a show again. They're jacking up the price on the bottle service for
Yeah, for sure.
$100.
Yeah.
And you're not going to drink most of it anyway.
Right.
Because you might not be your
Yeah, like I said, I think there's certainly more meaningful things you can do. And I would ask the chat, certainly for the guys in the chat, especially shout out to Mandrell, showed up in the building tonight. Yes, he is definitely a belief that it is a ripoff. But I would ask you, Mandrell, what's the nicest thing you ever did on Valentine's Day? So again, if for a lot of guys, you want to live off the grid. You don't want to be a part of the Valentine's industrial complex. You don't want to play the jacked up restaurant prices or the jacked up prices for roses or chocolates or anything else. But again, what would you do on Valentine's Day that is meaningful, that is thoughtful, that is again an expression of your true love and devotion towards the one that you're with? Again, I got no problem with that. If you want to be creative in doing that, we were talking about the AI music last night. They got these AI songs now where you can, have a song about your lady and whatnot and be playing it. And so again, you got your dinner, you got all this stuff, you got your home cooked meal, and it's, hey, let's put on some music, and the song comes on, and it's an AI song about your wife and how special she is and, to your life and all that kind of stuff. Again, there's a lot of creativity that can go into these things. And I don't mind expressions of love, even on a holiday. You don't have to get into waiting 5 hours to get into a restaurant or paying the exorbitant prices. But again, can you do something that is meaningful? And again, some of you guys are going to come back and says, oh, well, I do that every day, or I do that. I don't need Valentine's Day to do it. But I'm saying, but what's wrong with Valentine's Day? Just like what's wrong with birthday, or what's wrong with anniversary? If you truly love and care for the person that you're with, going the extra mile over something you wouldn't do regularly, what's wrong with that? So again, what would you guys do in that case? Another comment from says, are there stats to show the different age groups how they spend on the holiday? It's more of a younger generation who would rather go out and to spend money. I would need to. I could probably find that actually. That's a great question, because it was interesting, because I wanted to go back to because I did have some slides that I didn't show on the celebration of the holiday in Greece. Because again, I had a list of all those countries where Valentine's Day is celebrated. It is celebrated in Greece, but again, the biggest celebrants of the holiday typically are younger people. In fact, let me see if I can bring that up, because again, they do it a little bit differently in Greece than they do in other countries. But let me just bring that up. I could show you.
Yeah, they do completely different. Most people that I know don't go out or do anything. They just keep it very simple, very, very low key, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, for sure. Let me just bring it up. There we go. So share that. Okay, so again, so the question was, is Valentine's Day celebrated in Greece? And they say yes, with a twist. So again, romantic gifts are inspired by ancient myths, love letters, written in poetic verse. Couples sometimes will go and visit the temple of Aphrodite. There were some questions, some general questions that were asked about the holiday. So again, we talked about the churches earlier. It was certainly something that was instituted by the Catholic Church. But again, do Greek Christians celebrate Valentine's Day? Again, some do, but again, they do not observe. Saint Valentine in terms of somebody who is part of it. But I thought I had a stat here that talked about basically the younger people, basically are the ones who really participate in. Yeah, it's right here. So again, the region. So if you're in Athens or in Piraeus, did I say that right, Pete? How do you say it? Piraeus, Pira.
Patra.
What's that?
Patra.
Okay. Okay, so again, so it's very popular in the cities, again, dining out, gift exchanges, social media posts, again, widely accepted, especially among ages 18 to 35. So again, so certainly for a younger person, I can certainly understand them wanting to participate a little more. But again, if you've been married, certainly as long as I've been, and our pain, like I said, our pain got away this year with only spending $22. Shout out to him. I think I might have come out of this maybe for about $100. Again, we went out. We don't go to the most expensive steakhouse or whatnot. Yeah, like I said, lady down the street hooked me up some roses. We went out. Again, I got my steak. She got her ribs. We're happy. Yeah, so we don't have to go, like I said, so over and above in order to have a good time. So again, the idea of, like I said, I think you can still enjoy the day without breaking your budget to do it either. Maybe with a little creativity, a little ingenuity, or even going, why not go out for brunch? Like, you want to go at nighttime with the dinner crowds. Why not just go out for lunch? A little shorter lines. You're not dealing with a lot of the, the time limits and whatnot. Again, if Valentine's Day, you can start it, like, do all kinds of things. Now, again, in the Northeast, I mean, obviously it's cold here. So again, you don't have a lot of options. Some people go a little weekend thing since it fell on a Saturday this year. Well, if you and your lady, if you're in the Northeast, you decide to go to Florida or some warmer climate for a couple of days or just hung out for the weekend and came back. Again, like I said, I don't see anything wrong with, having a little get. In fact, my wife and I, we're trying to do that now rather than having these week-long vacations, just have like weekend, hits here and there, For our anniversary, we're going down to Puerto Rico for like 3 days. I mean, we're just going to go there real quick, and come back midweek. I won't miss a Sunday, so don't relax. I don't have to put in time to take off from the show. So I'll be in here for the gray area, even when
I hear that. You learn your lesson.
But again, I mean, you can do things like that. I got time from Cleveland in the house, so it says I got a basket full of my sunshine's favorite Mary Jane candy Chico sticks, watermelon. I think he's quoting a song. I think he's quoting a song there. I think it says that's where time cannot be selfish. All women love days like that, no matter if you don't like it, but I always think you should get her something meaningful. And then said I wanted to get her tickets for Kim. Okay, so again, he's performing in Florida on February 10th. So yeah, I mean, like I said, I think having these markers help you in terms of your planning and whatnot. Something's coming up and say, oh, that can be like my Valentine's Day grab. And it doesn't have to necessarily be the day. It fell on a Saturday this day, and quite frankly, for a lot of people, especially if it falls within a work week, sometimes it's just easier to do it on the weekend before or the weekend after. Same thing with birthdays. My kids we never celebrated my kids' birthdays when they were growing up on their day unless it fell on a weekend. We always did the weekend before or the weekend after. If we threw a party for them or something like that, again, it wasn't practical to have it on the day. But they didn't mind because they still got their party. They still got their happy birthday cake. They still got toys and gifts and things like that. So what did they care if it was on their day or not? So again, you don't have to be so strict with it. It's like, oh, well, we got to do it on this day or whatever and go out. I mean, people are free to certainly build around it, work schedule and whatnot. If you're be traveling that day, what are you going to do? I mean, so again, you make up and you put things together as time and opportunity permit itself. Now, let me ask you this. Because in this country, I can't say about other countries. In this country, Valentine's Day, again, I know you're not a big fan of it, but for a lot of people, Valentine's Day involves like the kids, like, if you go to school, you'll have the kids in class and, grammar school, they make their little Valentine's Day cards, and Valentine's Day is supposed to be for everybody. So it's not just between lovers. It's for your mom, your dad, your grandmother, your grandfather, your, little things like that. Do you mind when people take it outside of just between a man and a woman and take it into these familial uh broader brands? Like, okay, this love is about love for everybody. So again, it's, to me, I don't mind, and this is another reason I'm a kind of a fan of Valentine's Day, because I don't think it's almost like everybody wants a participation trophy on Valentine's Day. If you're going to say Valentine's Day is for lovers, then keep the kids out of it. But it's like, no, we got to have the kids. They got to do something too. It's like, no, they get birthdays. They get all kinds of stuff throughout the year. They get Christmas. They got all this kind of stuff. If you want to say Valentine's Day is for lovers, or if you want to say it's for married people only and nobody else can participate, if you wanted to make Valentine's Day only for married people, or certainly in a long-term committed relationship, would you have a problem with that? Because again, you're setting aside or prioritizing that relationship, people who actually are in relationship, not just people who are just fooling around. And certainly, is would that be something that's honoring, or like, putting the emphasis on people being in committed? And if you feel bad that day because you don't have a relationship going on, you feel in a certain way or whatever, well, just like everything else, not everyone gets a trophy. So if if the emphasis on Valentine's Day was such where it focuses on that, then hey, shout out, hey, thanks for hopping in, King. Hopefully you have are you guys on tomorrow night? If you could just put in chat real quick, if you guys got a show tomorrow night, definitely I'll plug it. But let me know if you guys are. But would you have a problem with that? Is the fact that has Valentine's Day kind of gotten a little bit diluted because you're putting the kids and grandma and all these other people in it or whatnot? Should it stay a certain holiday for certain people?
So this is a weird answer away, because yes, it should be for mostly committed relationships, long-term relationships, or married people. So yes to that, but is everybody going to follow that rule? Absolutely not. Love that. And like I remember as a kid, I used to get those little candies with a heart shape with they used to put out the little card. You want to be my Valentine? Everybody got one. They didn't really care about it, to be honest with me, back then.
Right.
Candy,
but does that, in a way, does that kind of take away from the idea of, again, honoring romance or honoring people who want to do this? Because again, it's like you're married, right? You got kids, and sometimes that gets hard. Just being totally transparent when you're in the thick. Again, I had 3 kids in 4 years, so we had baby on top of baby on top of baby. And sometimes things get missed, or you think, oh, well, we can't. In fact, I remember one time we actually went out for Valentine's Day, and for whatever reason, my wife didn't want to get a babysitter that night. And it was disastrous because I think my oldest, she was, 2 at the time, we're in this restaurant, and she just was not having a bad day. And this is an intimate restaurant. This isn't like a family dining type of establishment. It's one of our favorite Italian restaurants. It's very intimate. It's very, dark lit. It's And the baby she just wasn't having it. And it got to a point where it's like, look, we got to leave, because I don't want to annoy all these people who wanted to have their special night. And afterwards, my wife was like, yep, I'll never do that again. But I was saying, like, yeah, we need to get a sitter. She's like, no, she'll be fine. It's Valentine's Day. It's about the family and all that. It's like, no. If we're going to do this, it's about us. Because without us, we don't have kids. So just make sure you honor that.
It's a combination. Like, for young kids, I don't think it's an issue, to be honest. Maybe teaching them what Valentine's is. Maybe they'll think the other way. Maybe, the corporate policies will brainwash them to spend money. Maybe. I don't know. I personally don't agree with it. You know how I feel right about that. I've been saying that for the whole show. So give them candy. Fine, give them candy. It's another stupid holiday. And it's not a real holiday. This end of the day. I don't care either way, because it's not a real holiday. So, like, I'll put it this way: can we take can you get off for the day and get paid for it? Is that one of those holidays you get paid out if it was on a Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday or Friday?
Mm.
No, right?
So wait a minute. So how are you defining? All right. So let me make sure. Let me make sure I understand you correctly. So how are you defining a real holiday versus a non-real holiday? What goes into that for you?
Personally, me is whatever religious I believe in. You know, those sort of holidays. I like Christmas, New Year's, for example, are real holidays to me.
But why is New Year's a holiday?
Birth of Christ.
New Year's?
Yeah, technically it is.
I don't think so. In fact, honestly, from everything I've ever
conversation with Father Costa.
No, but I'm saying we can have it, but again, I don't think it's ever been verified. No one knows for sure that actually the birth of the
according to him,
day.
It's been verified actually, and he said to me how it works, and I asked him because it always confused me. He goes, "Christmas is technically the day of birth, right?"
No, it never was.
Technically, it is. Technically, it is according to where I know I understand. Again, we may disagree with this. Technically, Christmas was the day of birth, but he wasn't. It took a week to actually discover it, that happened. That's why New Year's Eve is a week later. He can explain it better than I can. I'm like,
yeah, I wouldn't mind having that conversation. But from what I understand, it's a Christmas was set on that day as a rival holiday to another pagan ceremony on December 25th. But as far as people saying yes, that is the day that he was born, that is a still a debated time or topic. But the point is, though, again, people, it wasn't always so, right? So again, people decided to establish this day, whatever, and people decided we're going to observe it. Any holiday is worth observing. So any holiday that's on the calendar, whether or not the government, like I said, President's Day, not everybody observes it. It may be a federal holiday for some. Some people still have to work. I'm fortunate I have the day off tomorrow, but some people have to work that day.
So again, in the last 30 something years I've been working, tomorrow is the first time I'm having a holiday off.
Right. So again, holiday I think is what people come together and mutually decide that they want to honor.
Anytime the company wants to give me off and pay me for that, I'm good with that.
Sure.
I'm good with that. That's
sure.
I have to celebrate.
And there's days where again I get floater holidays. So again, I get to pick off. So I get 2 days a year. Because again, you have some holidays that are not that are important to people, but they're not recognized by the company. So for example, for Muslims, for example, they have their Ramadan season, they have Eid, they have different things where they may need time off, but they don't want to necessarily use holiday time or vacation time to do that. So the last couple jobs I have, you get vacation time. You get a couple what's called floating holidays, depending on, again, if it's a cultural thing, like Asian Indians with Diwali, right? That's not a recognized or a national holiday in the country, but it's a very important cultural holiday to Asian Indians. So if you want to take off Diwali, or certainly because again the holiday also goes into the weekend, but if you want to take off a day or two for Diwali and that's your floating holiday, you're allowed to do that. So a lot of companies are offering that because they recognize that, again, different cultures may have practices that, you may want to participate, especially now that the world's more connected. You might be in the United States, but again, it may be in your home country. This is a big deal over there, and you want to be kind of a part of it, and maybe you might do something virtual or whatever, but you don't want to necessarily be stuck in an office where everybody else is doing something. So again, out of observance, they give you that. So a lot of corporations are giving you standard vacation time. You get personal sick day time. You get floating holiday, because there was for a time, for example, companies wouldn't give you MLK Day off. But as an African American, I might want to honor MLK that day or Black History or whatever it is, and I might want to take a day off, because that's my holiday. So that's all I'm saying. To me, holidays is all about, again, what you or what a group of people decide that they want to observe. So I don't know if there's necessarily a quote unquote legitimate holiday, or this is not a real holiday or not. I know Valentine's Day, even though it's not a national holiday in this country or whatever, but it's celebrated by arguably billions of people in many countries in the world, all over Europe, a lot of different countries that celebrate it in one form or another. In this country, it's it's almost a $30 billion business. And people, certainly patronize it. So I don't put it down versus any other holiday. You go out for Easter, the restaurants are packed on Easter, and people are selling candy and Easter eggs. They're doing their Easter egg hunts. They're doing their.
Like I said earlier, the Greek Orthodox don't believe in that.
I understand that, but it doesn't make it any less a holiday. Because, whether the Greek Orthodox celebrates it or Christians in general celebrate it or not, it's still a day that people observe. Diwali, I don't celebrate Diwali, and neither do you.
I agree with that. I'm not disagreeing
but
with that.
But it's certainly it's important.
I believe it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right. But I'm just saying, but it's still my point is it's still a holiday. So again, I don't distinguish, or people observe what they choose to observe. Like I don't, as an African American, I don't really rock with Columbus Day. Right? Why would I? Because Columbus, he was part of what brought the transatlantic slave trade to the United States, and asked the native indigenous people of the islands that he visited, do they rock with Christopher Columbus? That was a holiday for years. In fact, I used to sing songs when I was in grammar school. We would talk about Christopher Columbus. We sung his songs every year. In 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. He sailed and sailed and sailed and sailed to find the land for me and you. I had to learn that in Glee Club. But some people, it's important to them. Italian Americans, it's an important holiday. For me as an African American, maybe not so much.
And the funny part is, wasn't even the person who discovered America.
Well, yeah. Well, you can't discover something people already hear. So, you can't. Yeah, that would be kind of hard to do. But it is it's certainly something that, again, people fashion to create. Again, it may not be important to certain people, but again, I think if it's something where, again, something good can come out of it. And I think certainly for some people, if Valentine's Day gives you another opportunity to celebrate the person that you're with, that you honor them maybe in a way, and maybe every day you honor them. Every day you love and live and cohabitate with them. But if it gives you an opportunity to do something a little extra special and you don't have to break the bank in doing it, then why not? Even if you just wrote them a handwritten letter talking about how important they are to you. Yeah, and they say, yeah, they could have did that any time of the year. But I'm saying the fact that you decided to do that on Valentine's Day and give it to them, I'm not going to not take it or appreciate it because you put some time and thoughtfulness and effort, which I think was the point that was made earlier. Something that you put your soul into.
I agree with that 100% too.
Yeah. So why not? So yeah. So I'm saying, so whether you decide to do that on Valentine's Day or any other day of the year, I think it's still a good, I think it's a good thing to do. Now, again, my wife and I, we're not romantic really at all. Like, I don't send her love notes and things like that. I may send her like a racy text or something like that, or something, we got a little, back and forth that we do or whatever, but we're not romantic. Like, I'm not writing love letters and she's not writing any to me.
I guess you passed that stage.
What's that?
You guys passed that stage already?
I don't think we ever did. I mean, probably the most romantic thing I may do is typically on our anniversary. If you go back and watch my anniversary posts, I'll typically put something in that's, that I put a lot of work in. Like, I remember a couple years ago when we had our 25th anniversary, I finally took, and I should have did it a while ago, I took our wedding footage was still on VHS. And I think I might have transferred some to DVD, but I was thinking, you know what? I probably need to really digitize this. So I took it and I uploaded it to, I made a digital copy of it so I could upload it to YouTube or whatever. So I put a photo of the video. And I don't know if you ever saw it, Pete, but this is like me. I'm walking into the church with my groomsmen, and I run out of the church, like running, sprinting. And they chased after me, and they picked me up, and they carried me back into the church. Like, literally, one man's got a leg, one guy's got another leg, he's got an arm. They carried me back upstairs, and they put it back into and they put it into put me back into the church. So it's kind of fun. So I'll do things like that. A lot of it is honestly, it's about the day, like the fact that the day comes up, and a lot of times my mind will start, pondering. It'll start racing. It'll start thinking about things, and then I'll take a minute to pause. Same thing on our anniversary or Valentine's or whatever. It just allows me to really put into perspective, and I really start to think. And when I do, then I typically come out with something that is from the heart. And it's generally appreciated when I do so. Now, she doesn't have the gift of expression like that. So she'll be like, she'll say something generic or whatever. But I know how she feels about me. She may not be able to express it with words the way, or certainly have the gift of language the way I may do it. But it's in her way, the way she does it. And we're good. I'm not saying, okay, well, I wrote something nice about you. Now you got to write something nice about me. It's like, no, you express yourself the way you express yourself.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And if it works for you guys, it works for you guys. At the end of the day, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody can judge you. What holidays you believe in, that's on you. End of the day, nobody's going to judge you, or it's gonna, like I have the holidays I believe in.
Mm-hmm.
You have your holidays you believe in, and end of story. Nobody can judge who you are.
Right.
And the romance part is like everybody couple's different. Like some people are very romantic, and they even 20, 30 years later, they still little love notes around the house. Hey, have a good day, I love you, or whatever the case is.
Yeah, for us that's weird.
For you,
like I said, we don't honestly. I mean, my wife. I mean, yeah, probably a few times a week she'll say, love you, that kind of thing, or whatever. But we're not like love you, like you have to say it. I think, especially if you look at, if you ever looked at like 5 love languages or whatever, or that kind of material, we're acts of service type of people. Show me your love through your actions. I don't need to hear it. We don't have pet names for each other. Like I don't call her babe and honey and sweetie and all that kind of stuff or whatever. It's kind of like through service. Like, you keep it just regular, we just do what we do. But it's like, my thing is, what's important to me is mindfulness and thoughtfulness, but not necessarily romance or sentimental, being sentimental,
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't need that. Like as long as we're vibing and we're just things are just operating regular. It's like we're like a machine and you just don't get off. That's enough for me. You don't have to be a superstar. You don't need to be a superwoman. Just do what you do on a regular basis, and I do what I do, and we're good. And every once in a while, like I said, we want to go on vacation. We want to go, out. Like I said, let's go out on, dinner or movie or hit the comedy club or whatever we do. Again, we do that when it's, when the means and the time necessitates itself. But we just kind of like a sense of normalcy. And I tell people all the time, a lot of times, especially if I know people who've been married for a long time, it almost, from the outside, it almost looks like a period of boredom. Mm-hmm. Because it's consistent, it's steady, it's the same thing night after night, day after day. And you try your best not to get off. Once that snowball goes downhill, you just keep it going. Now, again, on occasion, will it go off? Will it stop? Yeah, and you got to build up the momentum again and get it going. But it's like, get it going and then don't get off of it. It's like working out for me. It's like I don't take a lot of breaks off from working out. I keep a steady training time. And so I don't have to worry about, okay, I stop here, okay, it take me 3 weeks to get back on and we got to fix some things. Like I changed my schedule. No, it's just built into my life. And it just kind of keeps it, moving. So I, like I said, we don't overindulge in it. We appreciate it, or we appreciate what it could be, and we take from it what is beneficial. Like I said, our kids, we let our kids celebrate Halloween. But again, not to the extent that, they're doing, demonic stuff or whatever. But again, taking them trick or treating, or and in fact, recently, I remember the mall. We took them to the mall because the malls were started to give out, again, business being business, right? The mall started giving out candy because they think, hey, if you come to the mall, you may buy something. So you take them into their costumes. It's a safe environment. You know, if you're worried about having your kids out at nighttime, walking the streets and all this kind of stuff, or someone's going to kidnap your kid or whatever the crazy stuff is, we didn't have that growing up. But again, in these times, people are more concerned about that. But again, you take your kids to the mall. And you go to the mall on Halloween, and all these kids in their costumes and whatnot, going from store to store. They got candy in there, and while you're in there, hey, check out what we got here. And sometimes people will buy something. Again, very pedantic type of activity. So you don't have to get all so into it. That's just like, oh my gosh, it's just gonna corrupt you in some way. And just from a spiritual point of view, I think even in the Bible, Paul talks about this. Some people favor certain holidays and traditions over others, and everybody, every day is the same. The important thing is, again, however you rock with it. If you think a day is important, fine. If you don't think it's important, then fine. Then don't participate. But again, people want to, get hyper religious about what you can and cannot follow. And I'm thinking at the end of the day, it's like, you got to make that up in your own mind in terms of what what you think is right for you and your particular situation. So again, Valentine's Day, if taken with the right, is it a scam? It definitely can be. And what we talked about tonight, just based on the numbers and based on the practice that people do with the exorbitant pricing and whatnot, it can be. But it could also be very inexpensive. Like I said, what's wrong with going into Victoria's Secrets and the day after Valentine's sale, get you some decent merch for 70% off that you can then pop in your collection maybe later on. Maybe you got a trip coming up in a month or two. Trust me, men, we don't care when you wear it, right? If you wear it on Valentine's Day night or the next week or the next month later, anytime is a good time to wear lingerie, all right? So if you want to get it then, hey, no problem. But don't get so, caught up in, oh, I got to spend money and, oh, she got me this, so I got to get her that, or vice versa, whatnot. I mean, you're putting stressors on yourself that you don't need to do. And again, use it to be more creative. Like I said, I know people have gone to like a cooking class, like where they do like, I'm sure you probably heard these, Pete, like, they make pasta. Like these cooking classes, they go together, they make pasta, they teach how to, but it's not, and again, I'm not saying that the food is great, but again, it's something that you're doing together. You're learning how to do this thing together. It's a bonding experience for you. Some people go to an art class or some event or whatever. Again, whatever you can use to augment your relationship. I'm good with it, whether it happens on a Valentine's Day or some other holiday or not.
The best thing you can do if you have your new relationship kind of thing, and you want to spend time. I know it's kind of cold now, but if let's say it's a little nicer out, and you have a dog, take a long walk with your dog and her.
Oh yeah.
Oh. And if the dog pisses on her, it means get rid of her. Totally, under the table hint for
The dog knows more than they do.
Oh, did I tell you when my first beagle did that?
No.
So Hercules was a mix, Dachshund and Beagle.
Mm-hmm.
He had a lot more Dachshund traits than Beagle,
mm-hmm.
so you can tell he was mixed. So when I first got him, I was dating a girl at the time, and her name was Jada, and she got excited. Oh my god, you got a dog! He runs up to her, and literally unloads his whole bladder on her, pisses her over. And I was, you gotta go get in your kid or whatever. About a year and a half later, we ended up breaking up. I looked at her like, that was why you pissed on her. She wasn't gonna work out. She's gonna end up cheating on me. So dogs knows best, like the saying.
Yeah. But those are things. Again, my wife and I will do that in the summer, or we'll take the dog to the dog park. I mean, there's plenty of, certainly opportunities to, but I don't think any holiday has to be, a a scam or rip off or whatever. You can certainly use Valentine's Day for romance, but make it your thing. Make it what is meaningful to you. Do something creative, that's outside of, think outside the box a little bit.
I agree 100%.
Why not? So yeah. So again, but certainly,
I think with this, it doesn't have to be on that specific day. You can do it any day of the week.
Yeah.
On Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It doesn't matter. Go out, enjoy your time with your wife, your girlfriend, your fiance, your partner, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
Enjoy the time. It doesn't have to be that specific day.
Yeah.
When a holiday tells me I have to do that day, I'm not going to do it because I love her because of who she is.
Right.
I'm going to send her flowers, surprise her, like, yo, just saying thank you for being you because you're dealing with my crazy ass. Don't say anything, Paul, because I know you're going to make a comment about my crazy ass. You can deal with my crazy ass, and I appreciate everything you do because this is a 50-50 partnership, like you always say, right, Paul?
So you're one of those people who you prefer getting gifts on a day that's not your holiday or not a holiday. So you would rather get a gift that's not on your birthday and it's not on your anniversary.
So birthdays, I will still get her something. I'll still get her on her birthday. That is her day of birth.
I'm saying you. I'm saying you.
Me?
Is it more meaningful to you to get a gift or an expression or token of affection on a day that's not a quote unquote holiday? Is that more meaningful to you than the person making special preparations on your day if it is your birthday and she wants to surprise you or give you something really that you were asking for or whatnot? She could have gave it any time, but she chose to give it on your birthday to honor you. Is that much of a difference versus, or if she just do it in the middle of the week? Hey, I saw this. I just want to give this to you because I love it. It doesn't matter. Because from what I'm hearing from you is you're like, it doesn't have to be on Valentine's Day, but what if it is on Valentine's Day? What's wrong? I'm saying this. Yeah.
Yeah, but okay. Let's break down in several ways. For me, all right, how I process things.
Sure.
So, if you give me something on my birthday, great. Not expecting it. As long as I get a text from, I'm not talking about only from my other half. I'm talking about in general now too.
Mm-hmm.
If I got a text saying "Happy Birthday," that means more than anything to me than anything in the world. And you know what happened my last birthday? It was the shittiest birthday ever. I told you that.
Right.
Yeah, for two reasons. One, I didn't get no text, and B, I was sick in bed. So I got
so that day it does mean something to you then.
It means a little bit, yeah. I'm not.
But if someone came out on a random and just said, "Hey, Pete, just thinking about you, whatnot. Hey, appreciate you, bro. Love you, bro," or whoever it was, on a random, the fact that it was your birthday, it was special to you, and that's what made it hurt a little bit more than if it was just somebody who just popped up on a random.
Yeah, I'm not denying that.
So that's what I'm saying. So for some people, certain days are going to be important. Yeah. For others, for the ones who say that, hey, it doesn't matter the day. Yeah, in a lot of ways it does matter. And whether it be again your anniversary, because again you can. I'm sure you could surprise your spouse with a quick, hey, I may have tickets to go to a place. Now again, that could be problematic. Because you plan this surprise trip on a random, and she's like, "Oh, I can't because I got a presentation to make next week. I can't go."
Yeah, that's a little different, obviously. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you're planning something like that. That I understand. Like I said, I like birthdays. Okay, let me break down like I was trying to say. Birthdays to me are if you reach out to me, that's the greatest thing in the world for me. You know what I'm saying? Just a reach out. I don't give a shit if you got me freaking this stop stick. If you didn't give me nothing, that's fine. If you were going out and I paid for everybody's dinner on my birthday, I'll be okay with that too. You know how I am about that already.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't care. So then on Christmas, as long as I get a text and Merry Christmas, that's all I give a shit about. You know what I'm saying? Like you remember, I text you on Merry Christmas if you remember.
Yeah.
Everybody. That's what I don't care about the gifts. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But you went out your way and got me something. I treasure that. I treasure that. I'm not denying that. It's right over here, right behind the
Mm.
screen. I have it hanging on my desk
Mm.
because it came from you.
You mean you're not wearing it? I feel bad now.
I kind of cross, dude. I'm sorry. This is gonna take that. Sorry, sweetheart.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but New Year's, Happy New Year's. I'll be fine with that. You know what I'm saying? Nothing more than that. Like if you don't, that's fine too. I get it. It's not like one of those holidays you gotta text people. You know what I'm saying? Everything else, like it's whatever to me. You know what I'm saying? Like Valentine's is more for women than for men. Let's be honest here for a minute here. You know what I'm saying?
A lot of times it is, but again,
Yeah,
so
maybe that's why I think-
your lady, on Valentine's Day, she's like, you know what? Yes, I know it's about me and whatever, but I'm gonna do something for Pete. I'm gonna go all out. I may wear something a little racy. I may do something, but again, you're not gonna appreciate the fact that it happened on Valentine's Day, and she really put thoughtful planning into that. It could be a dinner. Maybe she cooks for you, and she plans tonight. Everything that you talked about. What if she did that ahead of time?
Oh,
and because you're thinking, oh well, no, I don't need. But she took care of all of that for you. You wouldn't appreciate it on that day that she did that for you.
Yes, I would.
On that day is what I'm saying.
Yes,
just like the birthday and the Merry Christmas and the New Year's
what
and
I'm
all.
saying to you, dude. I said yes, I would appreciate it if it was on
Okay.
Valentine's. I would appreciate it. It wouldn't matter if it's Christmas, birthday, or whatever holiday it is. If
Right.
it's like hump day, whatever day it was, I would still appreciate it. It doesn't matter what holiday it is. I would appreciate it. Make sense?
I'm still not quite convinced. We can sort of talk about it a little offline. I think that certainly from what you just said, I think days and seasons and times do matter to you. And for someone to take out the time to do that for you on that day, I think it would mean a lot more than if she just did it on a random. Because again, I think you appreciate those times.
On my birthday and Christmas, yes, it wouldn't mean my birthday definitely because it is what it is. I'm not gonna bring it up again.
Got it. And we got a long lost. Where have you been? The Queen has been absent for some time. So again, I am so glad that Lady Navoa in the house. Some not all appreciate. Yeah, I mean that certainly we can appreciate it, but again, we miss you in these spaces, and certainly don't be a stranger. But again, you're always welcome in these spots. But I'm glad hopefully you're doing okay, and it's always a pleasure when you show up. So shout out to you coming up last minute as we looking to close out the show. Certainly you hopping up last minute means a lot to us. So again, hope you're doing well. But with that, I think we can kind of go to final thoughts and just land this plane. But yeah, I think this was certainly a good discussion. I liked hearing about what people do. And look, I got Eugene Steele in the background. We got all these folks that just y'all been here the whole time. Y'all didn't hear Eugene Steele again, one of the OGs. Appreciate certainly appreciate you being up here as well. Shout out to you being here. She was. You never gave us a shout. We never saw you though. We didn't see a comment or what have you. So again, make your presence known. Certainly, anytime you're up in here. So definitely, and and I appreciate the comments on the show. But yeah, any kind of final thoughts as again we look to land this plane.
You don't need a holiday to just say somebody you care and love them. That's it.
And that is true. You do not need a holiday. But a holiday, when doing with the right intention and you're not stressing yourself out of it, it can be a nice way to plan for things, especially if you're talking about like vacations and things of that nature. Mm-hmm. So again, holidays like Valentine's Day, again, use it in the right way. I think it certainly could be a blessing to your relationship. But don't go crazy and don't go buying a bunch of stuff that, don't go get that 6-foot teddy bear that she's never probably going to use, again. Or, do you have to spend $200 on some roses with the $30 batch? Is that enough?
You know what, dude? If I ever get a 6-foot teddy bear, what I want to do is take all the stuff in it and shove my ass in there and scare the shit out of her. I've been wanting to do that prank for so many years. It's not even funny.
Yeah, it's like, but people kind of go, like I said, people try to sell you all this stuff. Oh, it's so cute. Oh, she'll love it if you get that or whatever. So again, people always trying to sell you something more than what is needed. So I certainly it can get crazy. But next week's show, actually, we're going to have an additional discussion. We're going to keep this sort of in the relational space. We're going to talk about next week. Next week, we're going to be talking about wedding rings. And or symbols of marriage, symbols of from based on different cultures, how they symbolize their marriage. Now, wedding rings is a thing. In other cultures, there might be something else. And what if you don't have a ring? What if you lost your ring? Does that really affect your relationship? So again, you have to So again, these are things we're going to talk about in next week's show. Rings, is it a big deal? Is a 5-carat ring that much more sign or token of your love than a $500 ring? Or a Cracker Jack box ring, or an heirloom ring?
The quarter one? She spin the thing. What is it called? You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. The vending machine. I'm just saying. But does it really matter? We're going to talk about that next week because again, this is another one of those areas where people got you thinking that if you're not spending 2.5 months of your salary on a ring, that you don't love her, or you're not serious about the wedding or whatever. Is that rigged? Is that a scam? Is that a ripoff?
Oh boy.
Or is the relationship more so than the ring? So next week's show, we're going to be talking about that. And looking forward to having that conversation. So all you guys, welcome back, Lady Navoa. Definitely be in a place for that one. Certainly like to get your intake on that one. But certainly as we close out the show, again, make sure you hit the like button as you leave the show. Again, consider becoming a subscriber to the Black Men Unfiltered Network or the Sparta HQ Network. If anything, just go over there, drop a like in the for his stream that's going on right now. It would really help us out a great deal. But we just appreciate you guys being there, being part of the chat. Thank you for, certainly those who contributed to the chat. And for those, hopefully you did have a good Valentine's Day yesterday. If you don't celebrate Valentine's Day, nothing but respect to you guys. Hopefully you treat every day as a Valentine's Day, certainly for the people who are in your life. So again, we appreciate, certainly you guys being a part of this conversation tonight. So for myself, Mr. Bennett, and he is
Sparta!
The Ghost of Sparta, a.k.a. Peter, a.k.a. Panayotis. This is the gray area. Make sure you guys certainly enjoy the rest of your week. Take care. God bless. We will see you next time, and we're going to do a hard out. So good night.